Today's episode is brought to you by Restaurant.com. With Restaurant.com, you can save at thousands of restaurants across the country with just a few clicks. Their dining deals range from $5 to $100, never expire, and cost you a fraction of the face value. Dinner has never been easier with Restaurant.com. Used for dine-in, takeout, or delivery.
Restaurant.com is offering our listeners 50% off their next purchase by going to www.restaurant.com/podcast. That's www.restaurant.com/podcast for 50% off your next purchase. Restaurant.com is the best deal every meal.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home, and who wants to go with me?
To the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 240. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all love. Before we get into our show, folks, we have an awesome giveaway going on right now. We are giving away one copy of Cyberpunk 2077 for the system of your choice, PS4, Xbox One, or PC. To enter this contest, you must be following us on YouTube. You must like this video and also drop a comment on what you're looking forward to in Cyberpunk in the comments section. You can enter once per episode up until the launch of the game. This giveaway is open to U.S. residents only. And good luck to all who enter. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan. It's getting dangerously close to the next console generation, Robinson.
What's going on, man?
Dan, it's a good time of year right now. It's a good time of year. I'm jumping into a lot of my backlog stuff, so it's good. I'm preparing myself, trying to get everything out of the way, because once the new consoles come out, it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be next gen all day.
You're not gonna have anything else to do but play all those new exclusive games that come out on the Xbox Series X. Oh, yeah, sorry. There are no exclusives coming out. Well, you have Yakuza Like a Dragon. That's it.
And how many does PlayStation have? They have 2.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, which is Spider-Man 1.5.
Godfall.
Godfall is not exclusive. It's a timed exclusive at best.
No, it's still Yakuza Like a Dragon is a timed exclusive too.
Okay,
so,
that's perfectly fine.
Well, first of all, Godfall isn't officially announced as a timed exclusive. It's just an exclusive right now. Everyone is speculating that it'll come to the Series X at some point.
Guaranteed. And Godfall, I'm pretty sure has a PC port. So
first of all, console, all these games are coming out on PC.
That doesn't
console doesn't count. I mean, PC doesn't count. You keep saying that. It does
though, because it's another platform.
It doesn't. We're talking about the consoles. We don't care about this PC master nerds out there, okay? We don't care about them.
I'm just saying that there are other ways to play it, all right? Listen,
No,
Xbox does the same thing.
I'm sure
right?
Godfall. I'm sure Godfall has
Xbox.
a
No.
mobile port.
Xbox.
It doesn't matter.
Xbox does the same thing, and everyone's always like quick to point out, well, you can also play it on PC. That's a benefit.
I don't know who in the hell pointed out.
That's a benefit. Everybody does.
Everybody does. Those people don't say that.
Everybody does.
Nobody cares about what those people say. The PC.
Anyway.
The PC master race, we don't care about you right now. It's all about next gen consoles. So, what can I play exclusively on my console?
If you want my honest opinion,
Spider-Man, Sackboy, and Godfall.
If you want my honest opinion,
and Yakuza Like a Dragon, to be fair.
If you want my honest opinion, I'd rather play it on PC. As powerful as these next gen consoles are.
That's what we're all going to be doing in the year 2045.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, it is.
Ready Player One showed you the future.
It is just a very price friendly PC. What these like new consoles are, especially now that you can just hot swap everything.
They keep going up in price. So far, they might as well buy a PC. And like when the PS7 comes out, it'll be
$500 is the same price as the PS4 last generation, right? Wasn't it $500?
No, it's $400.
Okay. Well, the 360 on the high end was $500, and the PS3 was $600. So
it's so long ago. I don't remember.
It's right in line. Well, there you go.
It was so long ago. I didn't have any hair on my face back then.
That proves my point. That proves my point. Prices haven't gone up that much.
It's going to be the PS7, PlayStation 7 is going to be $800.
We're just going to skip right over the 6.
I'm just gonna skip the 6. You know what? Screw the 6. No one's gonna do this. You know, I guarantee you this.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you this. When they hit PlayStation 9, it'll just be the PSX. That's it.
Just the other PSX. Well, you remember that old PlayStation 2 commercial, right? With like the weird like bubble spheres or whatever. And at the end of the thing, it was like the new PS9. It was like a joke about how far in the future PlayStation's going to be.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that now.
Yeah, and we're starting to get there. We're only four numbers away from the PS9.
We're like 40 years away. 40 years away from the PS9.
I don't know about that. If every console generation is 5 to 6 years, I'd say 20 to 30 years tops.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're like 80. We'll be able to experience the PS9.
God, listen, man. I can't wait. They better have arcade stations at the nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you that now.
Oh my God!
Now.
So are you like in all honesty, are you ready for like next gen? Are you pretty hype and excited for it?
I am only because 2020 has been a shit show, so I need something to be hyped for.
That is 100% fair. We need something right now.
So far, the best thing about 2020 has been Animal Crossing and Ghost of Tsushima. That's it. That's it. Literally in the world. That's the best thing that came to happen to 2020.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So did you have a good weekend?
The weekend's been good. Again, like I was saying, I jumped into the backlog a little bit, so I'll get into that in the what we've been playing segment. So feeling pretty good. How about you?
So I went apple picking last weekend at the tail end of last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've eaten so many different apple dishes throughout the week. And I'm still not. I still have a big bowl of apples. I think I have like 30 apples left.
Oh my God! Tell me you made some pie out of that.
I didn't make pie. I had apple turnovers. I sautéed apples and put them on top of French toast.
Ooh.
I've concocted some apple cider cocktail with whiskey. I've had apple sangria with Pinot Grigio.
Mm-hmm.
I've had everything I've eaten. I feel like I've had apples in it. Some type of form of apples.
You like that guy from Forrest Gump. So you got apples, you got apple fritters, you got apple turnover, apple sangria.
The apple turnovers were good. I had a French apple custard pancake.
Ooh. French
It was it looked like a pastry, but it was like a pancake.
Uh-huh.
It was like an apple tartane pancake.
Okay. I don't think I've heard the word tartane before. Huh.
That's like a French version of a pie, like like a pineapple upside down cake.
Yeah.
It's sort of the same sort of concept, just with apples and pie, like a open-ended apple pie.
Okay. I think I'm picturing what you're putting down. Mm-hmm.
So I made that.
Nice.
It's just apples everything. Mostly apples in my liquor though. Apples in my drink.
There you go. Apples in your diet. Apples as your phone brand.
Yeah. Listen. Apples everywhere,
Apple
baby.
all
It's
day.
good. Listen, I've eaten so many apples. I don't need to see a dentist for like 20 years until the PS9 comes out. That's how many apples I've eaten.
Oh boy.
So, all right, we're gonna have an awesome show for you guys this week. We're gonna talk. Sony finally reveals the PS5 UI. Finally, we get to see what it looks like. An Xbox Series X launch lineup has been officially revealed.
Oh yeah.
But first, let's begin with Iron Man is real. At least a flying man is real. We talked about this, I don't know, like maybe 2 months ago, right? During the summer. In LAX, they saw a guy with a jetpack flying around. I think at that time it was like 400,000 feet in the air, or 4,000 feet in the air.
4,000 or 40,000?
I think it was 4,000.
Okay.
It was 4,000. It had to be 4,000. You know why? Because this time around, that same mysterious jetpack man has been spotted again for the second time. LAX, 5,000 feet in the air.
Oh my God. This is insane.
It's real. It's real.
Is insane.
The FBI. Last time we talked about it, they said the FBI was looking into it. You know what I think?
I think they should.
I don't think they're looking into it.
Is.
I don't think they're looking into it. I think they know who it is. They didn't expect anybody to see him.
Well,
It's probably their new experimental Iron Man suit that they're working on.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly could be next gen, like exosuits and all that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I also wouldn't be surprised if some crazy dude with a hell of a ton of money, aka like an Elon Musk, is like, I just wanna go and build my own spacesuit. I could see both those things.
Elon Musk flying around in the air.
I mean, he's crazy enough to do it, man. He's trying to make space travel happen for himself. So
no, so all right. So
that is crazy.
The first time we saw it, he was 3,000 feet in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And the second time, he was 6,000 feet in the air. He keeps going up. He keeps jumping up.
Yeah. Well, 30,000.
Next, we're just going to see him in space floating around.
Like 30,000's tough because the air is very thin. I think it's super cold at that point. I mean, maybe anything is like possible, but you remember in Iron Man 1 when he went up too high, his suit froze over. So I think that's something this guy, whether it's government funded or not, has to kind of work out.
Yeah, but in like Infinity War, it didn't even freeze out when he was going up in the sky in the ship, right?
Oh, he was on like Mark 12 at that point. Like he already had like 10 different iterations at least.
So just if you're on a commercial flight and you see somebody flying outside, don't be alarmed. It's probably the government testing out a suit. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna really ease people's.
It's just the government testing out a suit. All right. Did you see? Now we've talked about this. Did you see the new movie trailer for Monster Hunter?
I did, Dan. I did.
Now, do you think now that you saw this, okay, and you saw the trailer? I've seen the trailer 3 times. Okay. Do you think it's just Resident Evil with monsters, since Mila Djokovic is in it and her husband is directing it?
Yes. Considering that the trailer has a bunch of like PMCs or whatever in like kind of vaguish military gear or whatever in like this like Humvee chopper whatever vehicle.
Whatever.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes.
Anything. Whatever.
I 100% think this is Resident Evil with guns. Or Resident Evil with dragons, I should say, more appropriately, because Resident Evil always had guns. All right, but it never had like big dragon beasts.
All right, listen, I'm going to tell you something right now. Okay, I enjoyed the trailer. I think this is going to be pretty good. I don't think it's going to be a great movie by any means. It's not going to win an Oscar or anything like that. But I think it's going to be pretty okay movie.
I mean, look,
I would spend the $20 to rent it when it comes out. When it comes out on FiOS.
Look. All the Resident Evil movies are not good, save maybe the first one. But
I thought the second one started good. It ended bad.
Well, they're like fun to watch though, right? Like, they're not, like you said, they're not going to win Oscars or anything, but they're always like somewhat entertaining, even if they're like.
Avengers actually won an Oscar for like visual effects or something.
Oh well, sure, yeah. I mean, Star Wars has, and Lord of the Rings. Well, Lord of the Rings won an Oscar one year, but yeah, I mean, they always take like Oscars in that respect, but they're not going to win any acting Oscars, right? You're really just there for the action and the big monsters. And I guess
you don't think
to your point
is going to win Best Leading Lady, on someone who fights monsters.
I will make you a Shake Shack bet that's not going to happen.
You never know in the alternate universe.
Yeah, even if they
alternate universe,
even if they open up the nominations to every single movie, still wouldn't have a chance.
All right, I think this looks pretty cool. It's about monsters. They're in a military. She's like the leader of a military group, and they get sucked into this sandstorm, and it transports them into another dimension.
Yeah, they're like stranger in a strange land is how they're putting it.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's going to end with them not getting back home. So that's where we get Monster Hunter 2, right? Capcom, to be fair, Capcom. I heard that Capcom had, they gave the thumbs up on the script, so they're cool with the story.
Okay,
and we could potentially see. You never know. A video game tie-in, right? It could be Monster Hunter the movie, the game.
Oh God, just like Street Fighter the movie, the game. Now,
I'm gonna tell you this right now. When I first started collecting, the one game that I bought that I really wanted to buy, after I got back all the games I used to have, I used to add and lost over the years, was Street Fighter the movie, the game, because I really wanted that game as a kid. And I never got it, and I was so disappointed.
Yeah, Were you disappointed when you finally got it?
No, I wasn't. I was so satisfied when I finally played it. I got the long box version for the PlayStation, and I played it, and it was so bad that it was so good to 10-year-old or 12-year-old me when I really.
I can get behind that. I played the hell out of some legitimately bad games and still love them to this day because of nostalgia. So I can definitely get behind that.
Yeah, you played all the Final Fantasy games. So I get it.
And they're amazing. So one like final question on this, because I think it's like kind of interesting. What are your thoughts on the fact that they're kind of reworking what the Monster Hunter story is, right? Because Monster Hunter has never had people getting sucked up in a twister from, kind of modern day and being put down in this like fantasy world to fight off monsters.
To be fair, I own a lot of Monster Hunter games, and I've only played one. That's Monster Hunter World.
Right.
So I have no idea what the story.
The plot has never had people being sucked up in a twister. So, like,
you never know. There could be some obscure Monster Hunter game on a 3DS that
they're all like fantasy based and whatnot. To me, it's like why even bother, right? And I know it's got name recognition, and people are going to see it just because it's Monster Hunter. Oh, it's got the giant Rathalos dragon or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's the thing.
Well, let me actually look. Okay, go ahead.
But from like a plot standpoint, like from just a general movie standpoint, why even like make it Monster Hunter or whatever? You're taking some small bits from a video game and just kind of like twisting it around and like making it something kind of completely different.
All right, so my counter argument to that is, when did Sonic ever just appear in a different dimension with humans, and Dr. Robotnik was from Earth and part of the government and wanted to capture him to study him, so he in the rings took you when I didn't know which Sonic. You tell me which Sonic where the rings took you to a different dimension. Which game was that? Was that 3?
No.
Was that 3 or Knuckles?
you're not wrong, but he has jumped into the real world in several games. Or
cool. No. That's cool. I just want to know which game was it where the rings teleported you to a different dimension? Was that Sonic and Knuckles? Sonic 3?
But they made it work. They made it work in Sonic.
Oh,
they made it work.
So something totally different from the game they put in the movie.
It's not completely wildly different. You know, it's still held down to a lot of the tropes. They just made it work in movie format.
The rings. They made it work in collect to get an extra life, transported you to a different dimension. I think is drastically
fine. That definitely didn't rub me the wrong way. They made it work.
So basically,
they made it work.
So basically, you're saying your opinion on a movie that you didn't even see yet, because you don't know if they made it work with the army battalion being sucked into a sandstorm, transported to another world where they have to fight monsters. You don't know if they can make that work.
Well, okay. To be fair, I never wanted a Sonic movie. And I was like, well, this looks kind of interesting. This looks kind of interesting. I'ma see it. It was a fun movie. There were problems with that movie for sure, but it was like a fun movie. Like, I'm saying, like, if you're gonna take like Halo, and you're not gonna do the Halo story, don't make a Halo movie. If you're gonna take Fallout and try and make a Fallout movie and not do the Fallout story, don't make a Fallout game.
But you can say that
because it's not gonna work.
You can say that same thing with Sonic. They didn't do the Sonic story per se.
Because I don't think you could do that. I don't think you could make a believable movie like that.
Okay, well, same thing. You can't make a believable movie about Monster Hunter without having some army battalions stuck into a sandstorm. They're trapped and gotta kill monsters.
100% disagree. Because it's essentially Mad Max with like more fantasy. All right. Got these warring tribes, and there's monsters out on the plains. Like,
and you know how
it's a little bit like that.
And you know how successful you know how successful that movie was? It was wildly successful. So let's see how Monster Hunter works.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just
throw monsters in the mix.
I'm not that crazy about it. Like I love Mila Jovovich. I think she's great.
I don't think you do. I think your problem with it is because you just think it's Resident Evil with monsters. That's your problem.
That's exactly what it's gonna be. They're gonna have guns going around and this and that. Like, how is a rocket launcher not gonna work? And then they're gonna have to use like the tribal weapons. No, they're gonna kill it with a rocket launcher.
Well, put it this way: depending on how long they're trapped in this dimension, they're gonna run out of bullets.
Well, like, that's fair because I don't think they have guns in wherever they're at.
I'm looking at this movie from a positive standpoint, where I said the trailer looks super interesting, and I want to see it. I'm not actually going to go to the movie theater because I'm not going to movie theaters for another 2 years.
But you said you're going to pay $20 to rent it.
I'll pay the $20. It would be cheaper than to get a date and pay the $40 to go to this.
Fair enough, right? You know, you're buying technically one ticket. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh.
Well, speaking of things, I definitely would buy that I'm not going to be able to buy this year. That's Axiom Verge 2. It's been officially delayed until 2021. So
wow.
I definitely want.
Isn't this a team of one?
Maybe. I mean, he's been working on this. Team of one made
the first game.
Yeah, he's been working on this game for like the last 3 years, I think, maybe even longer.
Right.
So, I mean, I have the original Axiom Verge.
I have it on everything.
I have it on everything. I have a Vita.
You bought it 20 times over.
Wii U special edition.
Uh-huh.
I'm funding the second project. I'm funding.
Yeah. Well, you were the one that hit me to this game like way back when, I think right around when we first started doing the podcast. Like, you got to play Axiom Verge. And when I got my PS4, one of the first things I did was buy a digital copy of Axiom Verge because they didn't have the physical out then. So I'm like, I got to get this. And amazing game.
So Dave,
you
get any good pickups this week?
I did, Dan. We actually met up. We did the distancing thing with the masks and all that. We had some stuff to trade, which was kind of a long time coming. I got a couple of Tataku figurines that you happen to buy doubles of, and I'm like, all right, I'll take them. I got a copy of Judgment for PS4, which you had 2 copies of, but didn't have it in my collection. I said, all right, I'll take it.
Good game. That's a good game.
And the it is a great game. And the Madden 07 special DVD disc with someone's initials on the cover. So I have a unique, one of a kind copy of
whoever CBR is, man.
CBR. That's right.
You have it autographed by CBR.
All right. So I haven't worked them into the collection yet. I gotta find some space for them, like you do. But yeah, I mean, I ended up putting a bunch of other stuff into the collection already, which I'll save for the Saturday morning retro show. But yeah, man, I think that's about it, right? It was just those. It was just those four.
It was just those taco figurines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How about you?
So I've been gone like for a whole week. Just
You're out there apple picking.
And I got a special package with a bunch of games.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even know this.
I don't. This is news. This is breaking news on Rated G right now.
It's breaking news. It's breaking news because we didn't discuss this prior to this. But if you will allow me, I'd love to show you what was in my special package. It's just a few games.
Lay it down, but let's keep it PG.
We're gonna keep it PG. All right. So we got Penthouse. No.
We got
no.
1987 Forum Classic Edition. Now.
All right. I'm gonna run through some of these real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I got Miami Vice, the game.
Is that for the PSP? Oh,
yeah.
It's a Michael Mann classic right there.
Look at that. Have no idea if this is good or not. Someone told me it was a hidden gem, so I had to pick that up.
Sure.
Finally got the game that I actually saw at PAX, and I played it. I thought it was cool, and then right around they said limited run was going to release a physical copy.
Mm-hmm.
Kunai. Remember we saw this at PAX?
Hell yeah! I got to play it on a Switch that was attached to a spear, which I thought was ingenious. They had a little battery pack, and there was a bunch of like duct tape around it. I'm like, this is the coolest booth ever, because some guy was just walking around, so you could play it anywhere.
So I still haven't gotten my copy of Panzer Dragoon for the Switch for limited run. Just saying.
Oh I think I ordered that too. Christ,
we ordered that a long time ago.
I got a ton of games from limited run that I still need to get shipped. So
at GameStop, actually went to. I thought this GameStop was closing, but they weren't. They were sort of taking an inventory from a GameStop that did close.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they had so many boxes around and stuff. Because I was like, "Hey, you guys closing?" And it's like, "Oh no, this is inventory that we got to put out that we got from a failing GameStop." Mm-hmm. So I had to pick something up, and I picked up Avatar the game and Star Trek the game.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure I got both of those. Yeah. They're not great.
No. Well, Star Trek I heard was a hidden gem. Avatar not so much.
Star Trek better than Avatar. Yeah.
There you go. Now, the game that we did a trade for was I got from you Naruto, Ultimate Ninja.
That's right.
For the PlayStation 2.
That's right.
I had Ultimate Ninja 2. Didn't have Ultimate Ninja 1.
Nice.
And I actually went back to the office, to my job. I'm going back once a week. Mm-hmm. And I went to a thrift store that's maybe, I want to say about 6 blocks away from my job. And I wouldn't say hit the jackpot, but when I saw this, I was like, this can't be a real price. For $15, Lemmings, the Genesis game. Complete. Now you can see there's a little bit of damage on the actual inside cert card for the package, but that's okay. That's okay.
Lemmings, man.
This game's like over $100, and I got it for 15.
Yeah, man. Good find.
Pretty damn
good find.
So,
wow, I didn't know the Genesis version went for that much.
In box, yes.
Yeah.
And I know Dave loves his original Xbox, so
sure.
I saw these.
The giant VCR. Yeah, the giant.
I had to get these. Chase Hollywood Stunt Driver on the original Xbox.
Oh, nice.
See that? Okay. And New Legends. I heard this was a hidden gem, so I had to pick this up. Take a look at this for the original Xbox.
Oh yeah, I remember that game.
And lastly, Legendary for the Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
I picked it up because it usually goes for about $20, and I
Right.
got it for like $6.
Nice.
And everybody, I didn't know this. The Xbox 360 version of Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing had the exclusive Banjo-Kazooie in it. Didn't know it.
Oh wow.
So I had to pick. I have this game already. I have this game for the PlayStation 3 and the 3DS. Well, the 2DS. Well, the DS, I should say. And I didn't know the 360 version came with the Banjo-Kazooie. So I had to
Right.
pick that.
Neither did I actually. Yeah, that's an interesting tie-in.
So,
Nice. Nice.
so Dave, as we always try to start the show but epically fail, what have you been playing?
Oh, well, because it's October, Dan, I've been getting into the Halloween mood a little bit, and I've been playing Demon's Crest.
Ooh.
Nice.
We should
Your
play some
ghost
Thriller.
is
We should play
Ghost
some
is 100.
Thriller.
Yeah, right.
Let's play some Thriller.
Yeah. I've been playing Demon's Crest on the Nintendo Online SNES thing. I don't know what you call it, storefront or whatever.
Well, it's you're playing an SNES version on the Nintendo Online.
That's exactly right. Right. This is a very expensive game, even like loose. It was put out by Capcom, right? It's in the same world as Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghosts and Goblins. So you play as the Red Armor, right? Who's known as Firebrand in this one. So he gets like an actual name. And it's cool. So it's a side-scrolling action game, but it's got RPG elements to it, which is super cool. So you can get new gargoyle abilities, and you can pick up like vials, and you can buy potions to put in there, and you get weapon, or I should say health power-ups as you like go through. So it's really cool, amazing graphics, amazing sound, crazy difficult. It's a little tough because they kind of like, after like the opening level, there's an overworld, right? And you fly around. So you have to like drop into different areas to like, okay, I'm going to go here now. And like, oh, okay, this is a town. Oh, this is another level. But you never know if you're in the right area or not. You kind of just have to feel it out. You may not have the right ability. But it's super good. It's very cool. I think if you had the manual, I think that would kind of clear up some stuff. But yeah.
Do you need to like? Is there like text in this? Do you need to read what's going on to like actually play the game?
There's some text. Like when you go to the shops to buy stuff, that could be a little bit difficult. Like if you're looking to get the Japanese game, you could just find.
Yeah,
some
I was looking at the PAL
online.
versions.
Yeah.
The PAL version is a little bit cheaper.
Right.
Still
Right.
expensive.
It's
a
not
little bit cheaper.
Yeah, you could probably get away with the Japanese version if you just kind of like looked up what the shopkeeper stuff is, because you're gonna need some potions. I had to use them on a couple of bosses so far. So, but yeah,
Gotcha.
I've been playing FIFA 21 as well. My first Series X game, but I'm playing it on the X1 obviously because we don't have Series X's yet. It is.
Listen, there are more Series X games out there than Series X's. Look at that.
Yeah, right. There's technically there's at least two. There's Madden and there's FIFA. All right, we at least have those two. But it's it's very good. It's still soccer, right? It's got my boy Mbappe on there from Paris Saint-Germain. It's fantastic. It's a good game. I started playing a season, and it was like, do you want to create a character? I said, yeah. And my guy gets injured in the first game. How's that happen? So he's out for like 4 weeks. Also been playing Mario 35. Still can't crack the #1 spot. Always come in second. Like consistently come in second. And finally, they had this out for a little bit, but I was like, oh yeah, I totally got to try this. So I've been playing Quake 2 again, right? I almost beat it. I spent like the last like day and a half playing Quake 2 specifically. And the reason I'm playing Quake 2 is they have a patch that brings in ray tracing to a game that's, I don't know, 20 some odd years old right now. So they redid all the textures. They put in ray tracing, super high resolutions and all that, a bunch of this cool stuff. So it looks gorgeous. And like Bethesda owns the rights to Quake now, so they put this big patch out. So as long as you own the original game, you get the patch for free. But it looks beautiful. I'm looking forward to ray tracing on next gen. I want to see those games. I want to see that implementation. So yeah. So how about you, Dan?
Okay. I've been really busy this week.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I've been in and out. I haven't really been home. So the last thing I really sat down and played earlier in the week was Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time.
Oh yeah.
Tough game, like super tough. Like the further you get in, I thought I beat it at one point because they had this dual boss battle, and I was like, nope, this isn't it. You still got more to do. So I was like, wow. I was like, that was super tough.
Yeah.
So I died like 30 times before I can actually beat it.
You're playing in modern mode, right? Is that fair to say?
Huh?
You're playing in modern mode?
No, if you played. Oh well, yeah. Well, if you're playing like classic mode, like you died 3 times, like that's it. Yeah. So
that's too much.
Here you can die as much as you want because they want you to learn the pattern and get through the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been playing Super Mario 35th, just like you.
Right.
And I got the highest I got was 4th place.
Nice.
So I'm definitely wanting to crack that number 1 spot as well.
It's tough, man.
Tough. I definitely, now that I know how to play the game, because last week I didn't know how to play the game. I just turned it on and played it because I wanted to talk about it on the show.
Yeah,
and I played it maybe like 3 or 4 times.
You got to play it differently. You got to play it differently than you would normally play Mario Brothers. It's not a speed run.
But now I know how to play. I was like, oh, I made a stupid mistake where I know I could have hit second. I could have got that dude, but I made a stupid mistake and fell. And I was like, oh man, I was like on a roll.
Yep.
So
one thing I saw people do, which actually I thought was pretty cool, was as you get to the late stages of the game, they were specifically avoiding the easier enemies to not give your opponent opportunities to get more time, right? Because every enemy is worth like 1 to 3 seconds. So they were. Okay. I'm like, why are they jumping over the Goombas and the turtles specifically to like kind of dry up their time? Yeah. It's tough to do though because there's like a million Goombas on the screen, so you have to jump lightly.
Yeah, interesting. And I will say, definitely get like try to keep that flower power up. That is your friend when you get towards the end and there's like a million Goombas around flying around you and everything. Got to have that flower power up. Try to keep it as much as you can.
Nice.
So, all right. Why don't we take a break? When we come back, we're getting to the top gaming news of last week.
What's up, everyone? This is Lily Zaldivar from Viz Media, and you're listening to the Rated G for Gamers podcast.
And we're back. All right, let's get into the top gaming news of last week. Let's start with our lead story. Sony has finally revealed PlayStation 5's user interface. And I got to say, it's drastically different than the PS4 interface.
It's certainly improved. Yeah.
It definitely looks different. It's pretty good. It's growing on me. Every time they change, it has to grow on me a little bit because I'm so used to the old way.
Oh, right? That's always how it is. People are very resistant to change. Whether it's the right change or not isn't ever the question. It's always, well, I liked it this way. I'm used to it this way. It was like pretty cool. Like I've been a big fan of the Xbox interface just because I think it's a little bit cleaner, a little easier to get around. This new Sony interface is pretty nice. I'll say that.
Series X interface looks it looks virtually the same as the Xbox One interface. Xbox One X.
Well, it's
sort of the same.
They made some tweaks to it. Yeah,
they made tweaks. They didn't do a drastic overhaul. Like Sony made a drastic overhaul. I mean, the new PS5 login screen and startup sound, totally different. And that leaked image of sort of like the screenshot of what the opening login screen looked like.
Yep,
was true.
Yeah, that was
true. This is it. This is it. And actually, funny enough, if you remember the PS5, I mean not the PS5, the PS3, when you first sort of the startup screen, it looked just like that. It looks like an improved version of the PS3 when it first logs you in, right? So, it's different but the same at the same time. Like it's familiar, I should say. So I think that's pretty cool. The PS5 Control Center is cool because I don't know if you're gonna just have. I don't know if you can be able to customize your background, but whatever game you're playing sort of is the background in the Control Center. Is or whatever game I guess you were playing that you can just sort of smart resume just like Xbox seamlessly. It looks like that's like the background image, which I think is pretty awesome too. It's like where you left off. I think it's definitely a little bit, for me, it's a little bit all over the place, but not in a bad way, right?
Well, what do you mean?
It's a lot going on in the screen, I want to say, for me.
There's a lot of there's like a lot of things you can do, and it can be a little bit overwhelming until you start okay, well, this is for this and this is for this, and here's the party chat and the whatever. Sure, like I could see that, but I think it's laid out pretty smartly. They're really utilizing the space. They've kind of shrunk down a lot of stuff because everyone's got large screen TVs, right? So you don't need to make everything super, super big. I did the one thing that I really liked about it was the party and chat integration, right? Because there was the whole thing of where you're playing a game and then, your friend sends you an invite and then you can kind of chat with them and see what they're doing, right? In a little picture-in-picture window.
Yeah, and then you can move it, and you can move that picture all around too.
Yeah, and then you could also jump into their game too, right? I think they kind of showed that, which was kind of neat. It'd be drop in, drop out type situation. So,
I will say Sony and Microsoft are making a digital future easier, right? Because you can, if you say you were playing 2 or 3 different games, you could just jump in between those 2 or 3 different games seamlessly right where you left off. It's not it's loading and you go to the menu screen or anything like that. That doesn't work for people like me who wants to. I want to have the physical game, and I'm not, and it doesn't have. It's not like it has a tray for 4 games inside of it, right?
No, there is no CD carousel, just back in the day.
That would be nice though. Come on, the PS6 or the slimmed down version of the PS5.
Listen, maybe if this was the PS2 or the PS3 era, maybe you'd see someone with 5 CD caddy or something, but
yeah. But they are making it easier where you seamlessly can jump between games, and that's a cool thing. That's something I would definitely use when I'm playing PlayStation Plus games or Xbox Live with Gold games. So.
And that's all due to the the new NVMe drives that both these consoles have. That they're able to kind of cache the previous X amount of games that you have. Obviously, they're physically stored on there, but your current progress or whatever is kind of saved in temporary memory, and it's well, you want to get back to it, boom boom, you hit a button, loads the game up, and then you're in a couple of seconds, which is beautiful.
I definitely like the PS5 cards, right? So if you want to get information about the game, it contains a bunch of information about the game, images. You can use the card to navigate through different news about the game. If the developer has sort of hey, we have this patch out for this game, right? They have everything organized for this game in this sort of PlayStation cards, they call it.
It's just like a Facebook page, right?
Yeah,
it's got all the info for it and what it is.
And if you have videos and screenshots all saved there too, that will show up too if you have anything from this game saved. So. That's pretty cool. I don't know if that's a life changer, but it's cool that it's there. I like the fact, and we talked about this, the patent sort of was real. So if you have an issue inside the game, getting past a certain part, it's really I'm playing Crash Bandicoot 4, and this is real. It's not Crash Bandicoot 4. I guess is different than sort of a game where it's you don't know where to go, right? Crash Bandicoot 4, you know what to do. You just have to get the rhythm down. and you know, you have to get the right rhythm down, and you know, you have to
it's just
do
practice,
a double jump.
right?
Yeah,
it's just
that's
practice,
different. That's
yeah.
practice. They use example Sackboy, which sort of was the theme of this. They use Sackboy for this whole demonstration, where you don't know what to do, what to go. You have developer tips where they won't spoil the game for you, right? So it was really important for them not to spoil the game. They said, no, you won't get spoilers, but they'll give you hints from the developer of how to beat this section. So
yeah,
I think that's pretty cool. Just like the patent said.
Well, no. The patent specifically had in their images, hey, you need help getting past this thing. You can buy this from the store, which will give you credits to buy a thing to help you get past this bit, right? So this is the thing that you were saying, like, hey, look, it's probably going to be like this, right? And that was awesome. I'm 100% behind this, right? But who's to say that a developer, let's say EA, right, has a game that has microtransactions, right? So I don't think Sackboy has microtransactions, so they wouldn't be able to serve up like an invincibility power up for like 30 gems, which is like, I don't know, $9.99 or whatever it is, right? But, you know, a company that has games with microtransactions, maybe an Ubisoft or like an EA, I think that they would put up stuff maybe with the kind of clips and videos and whatnot to be like, if you're struggling, here's some stuff you can buy, right? And like, if that's the case, that's like, I guess that's okay, because you have like, well, here's some videos to show you how to get through it, and if you're really stuck, you can purchase this thing or whatever, right? So they're kind of mixing that together. Like, I'm assuming it's on a developer basis, right? So I liked how it looked in the video, right? That was like great. It's like,
Exactly,
oh, you need to find this road.
I said that they were exactly how I told you they would implement it, because when you're doing patents, it's different. You have to patent it all the way to what you could possibly do, right? Like, we could charge you for this, but we're not, but that's the patent, but we're not going to charge you for this.
Well, I mean, if Sackboy had microtransactions, this would be completely different.
And to be fair,
that's the difference.
Sony didn't put out the patents for public consumption. Somebody found it and put it out for public consumption.
Well, I mean, they're like public record, right? The patents aren't anything like.
Yeah, but Sony doesn't want you to look at the patents. They want you to be surprised when.
But it's still public record.
When they have an E3
like,
event.
I'm looking at the patent for the Game Boy I have on the wall right now. Like, this is all public record, even though that's like 30 years ago.
But we don't want you. We want you to be surprised. Stop looking at stuff as public record.
Well, then they have to rally to make patents not public record anymore, which is never going to happen.
That could be. There's certain things that you can't see. There are certain things that you can't see.
Oh, maybe, yeah, so, maybe.
People should just. I want to be surprised. I don't want to know about it ahead of time. That's all.
Well, I tell you, I was like by this, but I do want to see it in actual action with like with games that have microtransactions. If they'll be like, oh, you need help, boom, and here's some different options for that, whether it be video or like, a purchase option for some credits to help you get through like a thing. But
I wish Nintendo had that. And Super Mario 3D World, you have to get a certain amount of stars to progress to the next level. I'm at Bowser's Castle and I'm like short 20 stars. I just want to buy the 20 stars. I don't want to go back to all the other levels to try to find them. Like, I don't want to do all that. Okay.
Well, you'll be able to do that in PS5.
All right. Well, there we go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I'll buy the stars in Sackboy.
Yeah.
So let's stick with the PS5. The dual sense. I keep accidentally almost saying DualShock 5.
You didn't though. You called it the DualSense. You stopped yourself.
I'm getting used to it. I'm starting to get used to it. I guess I'll get more used to it when I have it in my hands.
They've had it since they had it since 1999. So they had it for like almost 21 years now.
So the DualSense, okay. I think this is cool. So NBA 2K21 will utilize the DualSense. It will, so all of its haptic feedback and all that. So it will simulate how tired a player is, right, in your hand. So I'm assuming if you're playing as like Kevin Durant and you haven't had a rest yet and you're really tired, you won't be able to shoot, right? And the trigger won't go all the way down because you're tired. The player is super tired. He can't shoot. He's been playing straight 48 minutes, right? You didn't give him a rest. I think that is pretty cool.
Yeah. Like it's using the technology in a way that lends itself to this game in particular. I think it's kind of a smart use, right? Because then you kind of know. Yeah, I mean, like, you kind of know visually, like, how much he's sweating and probably panting and whatnot, right? But there's no, like, on-screen meter to say, like, Kevin Durant's energy is at, like, 25%, right? You can feel it.
There's always an on-screen meter. But
well, I'm
feel it.
What I'm saying is there's less of a need for that meter because you can kind of sense it. You can feel it in the arm, or you can see it on his face because there's, like, so much detail, right? So you don't necessarily have to look up over his head to see, like, he's at 25%. Like, you can kind of get an idea and then go, maybe it's like, time to bring in the sixth man and swap him out a little bit. But
yeah, like you have him sprinting down and he's not sprinting and the controller feels sort of tight, right?
Right.
And you could feel it where it's like it's dragging. You keep pushing the button and he's dragging. It's like he's really tired. He's not going to be able to sprint down. You got to sub somebody in.
Right, right.
I think this is cool. They can probably integrate it with Madden next year, right? Or maybe if there's a patch. No, I think this is something they probably do next year, like Madden 2022. Integrating with the DualSense. You'll be your quarterback is super tired.
EA would 100% be about this because they were always about the pressure sensitivity when, like, playing as the quarterback and using all the waggle tech on the Wii for, like, the Madden All-Star games. So I 100% agree with you. I think EA is gonna kind of jump on this.
Well, the reason why I'm making this a story is because usually the first party games take advantage of all the bells and whistles that a new console has, right?
Yeah.
And this is a third party. This is, 2K utilizing it for their game, which is a good sign that this may not be a fad and it may continue. It may not be in all games, right? But it could continue to be something special about, hey, if you have the PS5 and we have this DualSense controller, when you play sports games or when you play, like, intense fighting games, you'll feel it in your hand, literally.
Right,
feel it in your
right.
hand. It's not just rumble anymore, right? So that could be a thing. And then obviously, Microsoft has some type of, there's some similar tech in their controllers, but not to that extent.
Feedback,
yeah. And you'll know, they're going to have, the next Xbox Series X controller is gonna have some type of technology in there where they can simulate that. So when you play Madden or NBA 2K, you can get that same feeling in their controller.
Or Forza when you, like, drive off the road, right?
Oh yeah,
because they were saying that with Gran Turismo, right? That would be a thing if you go up on the different terrain, like, you'll feel it in the controller. So,
well, let's stick with Mike. All right, let's shift gears and talk about Microsoft, and let's talk about the initiative. To be specific, the initiative just hired 2 former Naughty Dog staff members. Right. Well, this really shouldn't be surprising because I think the initiative is in San Diego, right? I think they're in LA.
I mean,
in California as well.
Most American development companies are on the West Coast. It's just a thing.
So it sort of makes sense, right? Because they're all around the same area. So, there would be some, some shifting from, hey, I'm going from here. I found a better job here and we're going to work on this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious to know what they're working on at the initiative where they have former Naughty Dog technical directors.
I'm curious for all of Microsoft's 15, 16, 17, 20 companies that they have under their holding. We haven't really seen that much yet. So we get a trailer here and there. But I'm with you because, and I think you're thinking what I'm thinking is Naughty Dog staff. They're big on the single player experience. They're big on stories. How are they going to incorporate into, whichever development team that they're going to get put onto, and what game is that?
One of the technical directors worked on Uncharted 2, Uncharted 4, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Nice. That's a solid lineup right there. Yeah.
So he has some pedigree behind him.
Mm-hmm.
We were just wondering what new exclusive games are going to come to the Xbox platform.
E3
And Phil Spencer,
2021. It's gonna happen. We're gonna see a lot of stuff.
Phil Spencer was asked recently about what do you do? Do you put Bethesda games on the PlayStation, on other consoles, right? Because remember, it's not just PlayStation. Doom and Doom Eternal went to the Switch and is coming to the Switch, right?
Yep.
So it's not just PlayStation; it's also Nintendo.
Yep.
And they asked him about Elder Scrolls 6 specifically, and he said, it doesn't necessarily need to go on anybody else's platform, because we spent $7 billion on this. We don't need to recoup by putting it on everybody else's platform.
Exactly. We need some exclusives to bolster our platform.
Yeah,
which we knew was going to happen. They said, look, not everything is going to be only Xbox, right? There's still going to be some cross-platform stuff. But if you read between the lines about what he said there, Elder Scrolls 6 is probably Xbox PC exclusive, which is
Game Pass. He can even make a Game Pass exclusive.
Oh, it's 100% going to be on Game Pass. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And that is a big blow for Nintendo and Sony. I guess Sony more than Nintendo, because I don't know how long it would take the Elder Scrolls 6 to get on the Switch or the Switch 2 or the Switch 3 or whenever they end up putting it out there. So yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
Well, we won't see the fruits of that labor for a while.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the launch lineup for the Series X and the Series S. Okay, because they officially put out the launch lineup, and the only exclusive I see is Yakuza Like a Dragon. Which is a timed exclusive. But if you want to play Yakuza Like a Dragon right now, you need to play it. You can only play it on your Series X. Or I think it's definitely out for Xbox.
This is a smart delivery cross-platform
Xbox One
game.
X too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cross-generational, so you can play it right now, which is super cool.
So you have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Borderlands 3, Dead by Daylight. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, the one that was shown at the Sony State of Play.
The digital only version, right?
The digital,
if I remember correctly. Yeah, there's no physical for it.
Gears 5, Gears Tactics actually. I think that is a console. I don't think it's on the Series. I don't think it's on the Xbox One X. I think it's coming to the Series X too. It came out on PC in May.
Yep.
Now it's coming out for Series X.
Yep.
Grounded, which is a Game Pass thing. It's not even officially out. It's still in early access, to be honest. I definitely want to check that out at some point. Ori and the Will of the Wisp. Tetris Effect Connected, right? That was shown at the Xbox event. I know that's something that you're big on.
Oh yeah.
Watch Dogs Legion, that will be out later this month, I think.
Right.
I think that's no. Assassin's Creed is coming out later this month. I think Watch Dogs is coming out next month, or the other way around. It's one of those. And Warhammer. Oh, Sea of Thieves, of course. Play Sea of Thieves. Just to name a few games. This isn't. I got to be honest. They're betting on all of there are no exclusive. Halo. I mean, if you look at the box, because the box.
The actual Master box Chief on there
got leaked. It had Master Chief on it, so that was, it's sort of a missed opportunity. It sucks that it's being delayed. They really were gearing up to market it with Halo.
But I think
if Halo would have came out, I just think if Halo would have came out, I think the Series X and the PS5 would have been sort of neck and neck, and with maybe even the Series X even beating it in sales. I think it was a big blow to them that Halo's not coming out side by side with the new console, to be honest.
No, that's 100% right. But I think they made the right move there. It did not get great reception. There were some issues with it. Graphics weren't necessarily up to par, and I defended a lot of that stuff because not all of the criticism necessarily is objectionably true. There was a lot of subjectiveness, and I don't like the new art style is what a lot of people were saying. And they kind of went back to the old school system. Just because there's dirt on the gun doesn't mean that it looks better necessarily. But
listen, man, I need more dirt. Okay, I need
that's the
more
sign of
dirt
next gen.
and grime on that gun.
The more grime you have, the more next gen.
The more dirt and the more grime you have, it means next gen.
But yeah, I mean, like I think you're right. Sony has 2 exclusives. Well, 3, I guess. You count Sackboy, Spider-Man 1.5, I guess, the Miles Morales game, and Ratchet and Clank, which is like brand new and looks amazing. So you technically have those 3 games available at or around launch for PlayStation. Halo, rumors have it by like March next year. It may even be pushed to like Christmas 2021.
I think it's 100% next. That's their big fall release.
Yeah, I mean it certainly could
year.
be. Like if you're gonna delay it, then
it's gonna
take
go
the
up
time
against
and make
God
it
of
right.
War. It's going up against God of War. Next year is gonna be crazy. It's going up against God
next
of
year
War
is going to be very crazy. Yeah.
Well, God of War Ragnarok if that doesn't get delayed.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think next year is going to be what 2020 should have been.
Yeah, you know what?
The biggest year.
100%, because we'll have this zombie apocalypse hopefully under control. Just the world will just kind of start getting a little less crazy, and developers will have some time with the system, right? And we'll kind of be beyond the launch games, which are typically always like okay to good at best, right? Every now and again you get a great launch title like Soul Calibur, but 9 times out of 10 you're going to get something like Fantavision for the PS2.
Well, you want to talk about being in a crazy world, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of crazy. GameStop is reportedly getting a cut of Xbox games, even if it's digital Xbox games.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you're not buying it from GameStop, that's kind of crazy.
Right?
That's kind of crazy.
I told you, man.
Now, this combined with them getting the cut of the Games Pass, that they sell, like Game Pass subscriptions that they sell. This now gives credence to what you said as far as them having, bias to wanting to push Xbox over any other console, because it's not just Sony, it's Nintendo too.
Right.
So
right. Like why would
the cut of it?
Yeah. Why would Microsoft invest so heavily in a dying company? Right. They're like, look, we can use this to our advantage. We can sell our product and push it through GameStop, all the while updating their whole infrastructure to be more modern. Probably a lot of store redesigns coming. So, yeah, I mean, like, it makes sense, It makes sense.
Well, we don't know exactly how they're getting a piece of digital games, even if it's not being sold at GameStop. They won't answer that question, but that seems to be what's being reported.
Right.
But I gotta believe
that's a little weird. Yeah.
I gotta believe they worked out some deal to where it's like, they need a reason to push Xbox One S's, right? Because the only thing they can sell with it is a controller. They can't sell anything. You can't sell you a game unless it's a digital game.
That's a very good point. Well, they could sell you the online membership, right? They could sell you a Games Pass to go with your 1S,
But that's not a long-term thing, getting you to come back to
the store. Right. Because once you have the membership, you're done. You don't need to go back.
Yeah. So it has to be like, hey, all of these, you bought an Xbox One S from GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, that's fine. And now you bought 10 games from the Microsoft store, and they could tell that you bought it from this Xbox One S. Maybe GameStop is like, well, we need a piece of that. We sold them that hardware. That could be a way that they're doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, same thing, why would they push the PS5 all digital, right? There's no incentive for them to do that.
Right, exactly.
They would say, no, get the disc drive and buy 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
That costs
right, because
$6.
they have the physical stock, and they're like, all right, we can sell you this copy of Ratchet and Clank here.
All right, let's shift gears to a story that we talked about many moons ago.
About a month,
sort
maybe?
of. It's
Month and a half,
it feels like it was many moons ago, right?
I know. Yesterday feels
it feels
like a
it
year.
was so long ago.
Yeah, very true.
It's lost a little bit of PR steam, to be honest. You don't really hear a lot of people talking about this, but Epic versus Apple, which is really not really Epic versus Apple, it's Epic versus Apple versus Google.
Right.
'Cause they've included Google on that
Lawsuit.
that lawsuit. So basically, the new news that's come out on it. Well, just to recap it, Epic put out Fortnite, which is free. And if you want to buy stuff in Fortnite, whatever platform you're playing it on, you would usually buy it through their pay system, like Google Pay or Apple Pay. But Epic sort of said they wanted to skirt that and have it where you could just buy it strictly from Epic, so they don't have to share any of the profits. And Apple and Google both said no, none of that crap. So they took Fortnite off their platform. So you can't if you have it, you're good, but you won't get any patches, and you can't re-download it.
Right.
So,
right.
Epic have this, they have this, no pun intended, Epic lawsuit. They're fighting for a lot of things, but the biggest thing that they're fighting for is that 30% cut that all the platform holders get when you buy something from the store as well, right? So whenever you buy anything from the App Store or Apple, Google, even Nintendo, PlayStation, Nintendo, PlayStation, Microsoft, they all get a cut. Okay. And we talked about when the Epic Game Store first came on, they were only taking, I think, 12 or 18%. They cut it in half, right?
Well,
so,
they were trying to make
their
a name.
engine.
Yeah, because I mean they were trying to make a name for themselves. Yeah, exactly. So they're like, look, we're gonna offer this much better rate for you. But I mean, to also be fair, like Epic was also buying up companies and games and saying, well, it's only going to be on the Epic Store now, right? There was some stuff that like got brought over. I forget which game it was, but there was like a game that was coming out, and it's like, well, it was on Steam, it was on like I think GOG, and then Epic bought it up. Yeah, and then Epic bought it up. Well, I mean, I think they said they were going to honor all previous purchases, but anything new was like only going to be on Epic. So, they've certainly done stuff like this.
No. I remember that story. They said that, and then they reneged on that and gave everybody refunds.
Right.
Because we did a story about that. I totally forgot about that.
I forget what game it was, but yeah. So it's not like Epic is squeaky clean in this, right? Both companies are doing shady things, right? To be fair, at the end of the day, Google is just as shady as like Apple is. Epic is just as shady as these other companies.
Well, when this first came out, everybody sort of automatically jumped on an Epic bandwagon because it was like the little guy versus the big guy, even though Epic ain't that little. We're talking about $billion company versus company. It's not a David and Goliath type of situation.
It is.
Right?
It is not.
It's Goliath versus Goliath. Okay, so let's just put that out there. But the new news that's coming out, since this has sort of lost steam, and I think Epic has sort of lost some of that positive momentum where people are sort of jumping on the Apple side now, is the judge pretty much said the ruling in this case will not just affect Apple and Epic and Fortnite. It would affect everybody who's a platform holder. So if you have a platform where, people are on there to buy stuff from, this will affect you. Steam, this will affect you. Microsoft / Xbox, this will affect you. Sony, Nintendo consoles, right? Where you won't, depending on how the ruling goes, you may not be able to get a cut or a big cut of everything that's sold, or they may not be able to sell it. They don't have to sell it on your platform. They can sell it to a third party app, right? So this is going to affect everyone. And I think that's why it sort of lost a lot of steam, because slowly but surely everyone's like, oh, wait, if Epic beats Apple, what does that mean for me, selling games on the Nintendo Online store, right? So I think slowly but surely people are sort of backing Apple a little bit, or even if they're not backing Apple, they're just losing steam and not sort of supporting Epic in this. So, and that's why I told you, I said, I don't think this is, I mean, you know, the first PR splash seemed nice and cute, right? Like it seemed like a David and Goliath situation. But I told you, I think quickly people will go on Apple's side because of that point, because it's about a lot of different things that are in this lawsuit, but it's mainly about getting that 30% cut if you're buying stuff off of my platform.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's like a lot of bits to it that I'm not necessarily a fan of. You know, the ruling is the ruling, and it is what it is. Somebody loses.
It's not a ruling. We don't have a ruling. We don't have a ruling yet.
Well,
I'm just saying the judge.
It looks like,
just sort of mentioned that the ruling will affect everyone. So it's like it's not just.
Well, yeah, of course. This is setting a like a precedent. But no matter what they rule on, somebody loses. Whether it's the developers, the gamers, or the platform holders, in this case, like Apple and Microsoft and Sony. So I think, I mean, somebody has to give something, right? And everybody could give a little bit, right? Like, you know, is 30% the proper number for things, right? Everyone has their cut at 30%, but is that the way to do it, right? Is maybe it's 25, maybe it's 35, I don't know, you know? Because 30% is a lot. Of all your sales, 30%, right?
No, it is a lot. No, listen, I'm not arguing against the number, right? Like the number is not I'm just saying it's my platform. You should have you know, I promoted and got the user base up. And you want to sell to my user base, you know, like I need to profit off it so I can keep this thing going, right? Keep the store going.
Well, sure.
I think honestly, I don't think this is going to go to a judgment. I think they're going to come to some type of settlement to where, you know, if one side feels like they're losing, I think they're settled, right? And I think, honestly, they may settle on maybe lowering that fee, right? It may not be 30%. I think it really should be 15 to 20%. To be honest, I think that's fair.
It's just curious that everybody, with the exception of Epic, and Epic is doing it to undercut the competition, right? Because they want to get a foothold in it. That everybody else is legit just 30% across the board, right? Because Steam was the first store, right? And they, I think, had 30%, or if they didn't have it right away, they like quickly got to the 30%, and they're like, we're gonna take this bit of a cut, and then everybody else seemed to follow suit, right? Like Apple's like, well, if these guys are doing it, then we're gonna do 30% too, because
it became the industry. It became the industry standard.
Right. But you would think more companies would do what Epic did and try and undercut and say, hey, look, you know, you can get a better rate if you go onto our platform, you know? Like,
you know
maybe,
what? Honestly,
I don't know.
I'm surprised Google or Android didn't do that, right? Because, like, you know, the first app store, at least the first app store to be popular was the iPhone, right? On the iPhone, the Apple App Store. And that sort of started this whole thing where we are now. And I can understand them saying, oh, well, if Steam is doing it, right, we can do 30%, right? Android came later. So I'm surprised they didn't do that to try to undercut Apple and say, all right, well, if you're doing 30, we're going to do 20%.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To sort of force their hand a little bit. So I'm shocked at.
Yeah. I don't know. Like Sony and Microsoft, like, kind of makes sense because they're similar architecture, right? They're like both x86 now. So if you make a game for one console, it's not that much more work to port it. Like, to put it on like Switch is a completely different thing. So like that's kind of different. But I don't know. It's just like kind of like curious to me. Yeah.
All right. But let's end with something that could be cool. Okay. Atari has shown off concept art for its new hotels, and it looks crazy. Okay.
It does look wild.
it looks Las Vegas-ish, right? Like, I mean, first of all, the first 2 hotels are planned to open in Las Vegas and Nevada. Phoenix, Arizona, with plans to expand into Austin, Chicago, Denver, San Francisco, San Jose, and Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this concept art definitely looks like a Las Vegas type of theme. So this could be something that they're gonna do. Like, it's a whole strip.
Yeah,
it's definitely a whole strip with everything being sort of video game themed. And I just saw it. I mentioned it earlier in the show that I just watched Ready Player One in its entirety for the first time. The first time I saw it halfway through the movie, and I just said, "Screw it, I'm going to watch this."
you got to watch it from the beginning. Yeah.
So this is the first time I actually watched it from the beginning, and this gives me vibes. When looking at this concept art, I think I'm in like Player Ready One.
Ready Player One. Yeah, it is the 1980s. It's the 1980s version of the future. 100%. There's neon everywhere.
Yes.
There's these weird like walkways and kind of clear tubes that you kind of go around in. I mean, I'm with you. It does look cool. I don't think they're going to be able to hit this mark, though.
Asteroid Cafe. Right? Asteroid Cafe.
Yeah, wow. I mean, theme it like accordingly. You can see like Pitfall and River Raid and all the games across there. Like sim racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all looks like, cool. I would 100% want to go here all the time. If this was real.
I would go and check it out. I would be curious to try it. Just, if it ever gets to final production and they're open for business, 100% I'll go. 100% I'll go.
Well, we got the Mario World. We got the Super Mario World theme in Universal, and I think maybe if that works and they put it out in the US, they could, because I went to Universal last September. That was like the last time I actually flew somewhere.
Yeah.
They have, and if you've been in Universal and if you stayed at Universal hotels, they have different themed hotels, right? You have like the Cubana Hotel and you have like the Modern Hotel. So they have different themed hotels. I can see them having a Nintendo World themed hotel too, right? And that's probably where you take the kids and there's a Mario. It's like in the front when you first walk in. And that would go hand in hand with the Nintendo World, sort of section of Universal, the theme park section. So
100%. And if Atari got in with Orlando somehow, and that's where they had the hotel, I would have much more hope for this project getting off, because you have the backing of it being like an amusement park. It's a little bit more kid oriented, right? And, Nintendo's got all these great properties. Atari maybe a little bit less so, but I think it kind of fits in with an amusement park theme more than it does a Las Vegas hotel theme. Maybe that's like just me, but I mean, I could see them doing a little bit better with that, right? Because then you have all this foot traffic. You got this nice new hotel that's kind of branded as this retro kind of old school Atari thing with the neon and all that. Like, then I'd be like, all right, maybe you guys have a shot in that case. But I don't know.
I gotta say, money talks, my friend, and if they have money behind this, and it looks like they do,
sure,
they can make this work. And I'm all for it. It's just video games are going mainstream, baby.
When they open, we're gonna get 2 tickets. We're gonna fly to Vegas, and we're gonna go ahead and check this out.
No. I want to. They said they wanted to do it in Seattle too. Hopefully they do it in Seattle. We can go to PAX Prime.
Oh yeah, that's right. Or the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. It's also up in that area.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So, all right. On that fun little note, I think we're going to end episode 240. And we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. And don't forget, we are giving away 1 copy of Cyberpunk 2077 for the system of your choice, PS4, Xbox One, or PC. To enter, you must be following us on YouTube. You must like this video and drop a comment on what you're looking forward to in the comment section for Cyberpunk. You can enter once per episode up until the launch of the game. This giveaway is open to U.S. residents only. And good luck to all who enter. And finally, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance, so check out all of the fine podcasts featured on there if you're looking for more gaming goodness at gamingpodcastalliance.com. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.